Hello. This video is about why I do what I do and how it never gets old. Back when I got my certification for coaching, I became more aware than I ever have about how I was seen as a human from others, like my reputation, as well as just being really aware of the dynamics within myself, my inner talk, and other people sharing that they had internal struggles as well. Up until then, I had really never thought about it and not really studied it. From then on, I was fascinated by it. We all have an internal struggle. Our inner critics create all of our stress. And it's just an inside job. Sure, bad things happen on the outside and major things can totally turn our lives around, but we always have a choice in how we show up. And that's the underlying theme and model of the choice model. The choice model is what I take into companies to share with them so that they can have some sticky leadership development, right? So many times people go to these leadership workshops and they forget everything that they learned a couple weeks later. I hate that part and I want this to stick. Awareness is the first step. It's really the beginning of understanding that life can be good even if I need a hip replacement. Life can be good even though really bad things happen. It's all about my attitude and my disciplined focus on what's right in the world for me. What am I grateful for? Right? It can get as clear as you want it to. In my trainings and coaching, we start with the stuff that's yucky, right? And it seems to stick for people like, oh, yeah, I understand. I have this performance type stress where I feel like I have to be on all the time. I might hear that. But then what's the superpower of that? Like, probably a pretty entertaining person, right? Probably pretty funny. Humor is a great leadership trait. I love this work because awareness. I'm living this life of awareness. I am walking my walk as I train the talk. There's a dynamic nature. There's so many different forces going on within a company, within an organization. There's so many emotions that are swept under the carpet. There's so much fodder, there's so much to work with in a company so that the company can shift from this drama thinking, persecution, victim, rescuer place to this creator, coach, challenger, purpose place. Stan Slap in his book called Bury My Heart in Conference Room B, he says, leaders, and he is a leader, I want to take people from the bitter place to the better place. The bitter place of drama and fear to this better place of, hey, what if we all cared about what we did? What if the line workers could put their phones down and really enjoy the work they're doing because it has bigger meaning? So that's what I bring. That's why I love what I do. And I do believe there can be an end of suffering in a big way. And we're all brought in organizations together for this one job, right? For this one thing that we want to do, whether that's making widgets or, whatever it is. So when I am able to work within a company and really see the team grow together, that just keeps me going. When teams are not afraid of tiptoeing around each other, there can be so much more dynamic innovation, and the collaboration is fun. Like, it's catchy. It's like, oh, I want to sit in this meeting with these people who are all in. It's so exciting. And I hope that you have that with your teams. And if you don't, I want you to. So let's play. Yeah. So learning and development, now we've got these organizations. Back when I was a business major, there was no L&D or OD or anything. Emotional intelligence is a wacky, hard to measure leadership skill, and people don't follow someone that they can't feel. That's one of the fun parts about it because it's just something that's not really talked about very often. But once it is, it's just like this icebreaker. It breaks open the company to really start to understand what real leadership is and therefore step into it more and more and more and more. And there's no depth to this learning. There's just no depth to the awareness of the human brain and of the human heart. They have to work together. We can't keep working with just our brains. Many of us try. What else? So yeah, I talked about that, the sticky leadership, right? Like I want to create for you a place where you have the choice model right there next to your Q1 goals, and you can say, oh, right, I wasn't clear. I need to get clear with that person. Or, oh, yeah, I stepped back into that trauma triangle, and this is what I want to do to get out of it. The dynamic way that I work is that leaders are all very different. Leadership has tons of different expressions, and each person isn't supposed to be any different than exactly who they want to be as a leader. You don't have to cram the square peg in the round hole in the work that I do. You can just be yourself. Sure, there's skills to brush up on, but you can be yourself and be a leader. What I notice with women leaders is a lot of times that giver stress pattern is huge. And I know I'm putting women in a box, but I have seen it like 8 times out of 10. And it's hard to watch because I've pulled myself out of the box and I've seen what it is for a woman to be strong in her leadership, even as a giver, and to own herself in full power. I do this work because it's dynamic. It has lots of flavor. It's kind of a secret that companies don't know. And once I'm in there, it changes the dynamics in such a great way that it can build. The absence of trust is the #1 dysfunction in a team. This is Lencioni's triangle that he made long ago, and it's old, but it's classic. From not having trust, then there's fear of conflict. Like, oh, I don't want to say what I really need to say, when you really need to say it for the results, which is the main pinnacle of why we need good teams. Because in the middle, there's this lack of commitment. Like the teams aren't really buying in. They're just doing their work and getting their paycheck, I often find. And then that avoidance of accountability. If there's no buy-in, there's nothing. And the person isn't showing up with all of their strengths, all of their superpowers. I really do love this stuff. Being a leader is tough. And that's why there's all this leadership talk. But if you want to motivate, influence, and inspire others, if you don't want to just bark orders at people, there's a way. And I know that way, and I've seen people through it, and it is the best. Again, to watch a team just flourishing in their relationships, they're making more money and they're having more fun. It doesn't get any better than that. Thanks for getting to know my work and keep watching my videos. I have all sorts of things to share. I'm super happy to talk to you about your team dynamics. If you ever want to chat, there's a 15-minute calendar link to talk to me. And okay, see you later.